Okay, these are a little bit more complex equations. Just remember your goal is to get x by itself. Now, the first thing you want to do is get your x's together, and I always try to move the smallest x. Some people have the misunderstanding that they think x has to always be on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and that's not necessarily true. I move the smaller x because it has less chance of me dealing with a whole lot of negatives. So the smallest x is 3x, and you're always doing opposites. So the opposite of positive 3x is negative 3x. So I'm going to start by moving that so that I have my x's all on the same side. So 5x take away 3x is 2x. Bring down the positive 8. Bring down the equal. Opposites cancel. Bring down the negative 3. Now remember, you want to get the x by itself, so if it helps you to visualize it, you can circle that, because we've got to get rid of this positive 8 first. So the opposite of positive 8 is negative 8. So if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. So I'm going to bring the 2x down. Opposites cancel. Bring down the equal. A negative 3, and then another negative 8. That's a total of 11 negatives. Now, if they're stuck together, they're being multiplied. This is 2 times x. The opposite of multiply is divide, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So x equals negative 11 over 2, and you can leave it as an improper fraction just as long as it's simplified. So that's the answer to that one. Okay, the next one, you have to get rid of parentheses by distributing. When you distribute, you multiply. So 2 times 4y is 8y. And 2 times positive 3 is a positive 6 equals 16. Now that you've gotten rid of the parentheses, remember you're trying to get the y by itself, so you have to get rid of this positive 6. So the opposite of adding 6 or a positive 6, addition and positive are the same thing, is subtracting 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I'm going to bring down the 8y, the opposites cancel, bring down the equal, 16 take away 6 is 10. This is 8 times y. The opposite of times is divide, so I had to divide both sides by whatever is stuck to my variable. Notice I did not divide by a negative 8 there. You don't want to change the sign, because if you put that as a negative 8, you're just changed it. It's not going to be division, it's going to be subtraction, so don't do that. Okay, so y equals 10 over 8. That can be simplified. They're both even numbers, so I'm going to cut them in half. Half of 10 is 5, and half of 8 is 4. So 5 over 4 is the answer. On the next one, let me write it like a normal fractions, and you'll see why in a moment. So 2/3 p plus 1 over 5 equals 4 over 5. My first thing that I want to do is to get rid of the fractions, and you do that by multiplying each term by the common denominator. So the common denominator on this would be 15. So I'm going to put a 15 with each term like this. So multiply and divide. 15 times 2 is 30, divided by 3 is 10. So that's going to be a 10p plus 15 times 1 is 15, divided by 5 is 3, equals 15 times 4 is 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Then remember, you're trying to get the p by itself, so I have to do the opposite of adding 3. I have to subtract 3 from both sides. So I'm going to bring down the 10p. The opposites cancel, equal 12 take away 3 is 9. So 10p equals 9. That's 10 times p, so the opposite of times is divide. So divide both sides by 10. Top cancels with bottom, and 9 over 10 cannot be simplified, so I'm just going to leave it just like it is. Okay, I'm going to multiply each term by the common denominator, which in this case would be a 12. So just put a 12 with each term. And I went ahead and rewrote it so it's not slanted fractions. Multiply and divide. 12 times 3 is 36. 36 divided by 4 is 9. We have an A, you have a minus sign. 12 times 1 is 12, divided by 6 is 2. Equals 12 times 2 is 24, divided by 3 is 8. You have an A, you have a plus sign. 12 times 1 is 12, divided by 4 is 3. So then I need to get my a's together. I'm going to move the smallest one. So the opposite of positive 8a is negative 8a. So 9 take away 8 is just 1, but if it's 1 with a variable, you don't have to write it. Bring down the negative 2, bring down the equals. Opposites cancel, bring down the 3. Now we're trying to get the a by itself. So the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So a, opposites cancel, equals 3 plus 2 is 5. So a equals 5.